Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Here's my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He's your host, Ben Mason.
And he's your co-host, Sandra Luketic. And today we're talking 1986's Cobra. And there is no way to talk about this movie without spoiling the shit out of it, so just be prepared. Sandro, what's your background with this movie?
I've never seen it.
Correct. I knew that. But you told me when I picked this that there is a song on this soundtrack that you love.
Angel of the City. It's so good.
Do you know who it's by? I can't remember that song at all.
No.
That's fine.
Is it?
It's Robert Tepper.
That's what I was going to say, but I couldn't remember the last name. And I was going to say Trepper. So good thing I didn't say that and embarrass myself.
Did you know that The Touch by Stan Bush was originally written for this movie?
I did know that.
Ah, okay. You music nerd. I thought it would have got you on that one.
No, I watched a video of about the movie earlier today from Good Bad Flicks.
Oh, goddammit. Okay.
Needed to get a little bit more of the tidbits so you couldn't surprise me with these trivia questions.
I'm curious if you noticed anything about the poster for this movie.
The sunglasses? I don't know.
This is something I didn't even notice until someone brought it up to me, and they're like,
my guess is that it resembles too much the original Terminator poster, but
exactly. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, I had not thought of that, and I looked at them side by side, and I'm like, yeah, that's the same fucking photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they changed the guy in it, of course.
Well, yes, but I mean, I don't think that's an accident because of the rivalry between Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
If it was between the movies represented in these two posters, sorry, Stallone.
I like the Stallone one more.
Well, I don't mean just the poster. I mean the movies they're representing. You like Cobra over Terminator?
The poster.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not talking
the movie. I'm not crazy. I'm not. You need to calm down.
Well, you just get me riled up. No?
So you watched the Good Bad Flicks video about this. I assume they covered the story of Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the lead, and he did too many rewrites that kind of took it too far away from the comedy that they were hoping for, so they canned him and got Eddie Murphy, which probably the much better decision.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, Cobra is basically the fallout from that. They got the rights to the book Fair Game by Paula Gosling, and he did his rewrites to make Fair Game into what he wanted Beverly Hills Cop to be. Now, Fair Game was turned into another film of the same name in, I want to say, 95, mid-90s.
Crawford and Baldwin.
Yes, Cindy Crawford and one of the Baldwins. I want to say William?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Once you go past Alec and Steven, I'm kind of lost. Maybe a bit of Daniel here and there. But I remember seeing that movie. I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
I remember the poster for it.
I remember the poster for it too. I think
it looked just like the Terminator poster,
but better. Yeah, everyone remembers that poster. Every teenage guy in the mid-90s remembers that poster.
Yeah, that Baldwin guy was looking so good.
He's so good, right? But that takes care of my background. You already know. I'm assuming anybody clicking on this video has some idea of the history of Cobra. It's just so not obvious. I want to make sure everyone knows that Sylvester Stallone, at least in the mid-80s, is a complete egomaniac. Everything has to be done his way.
That definitely came across in a lot of the interviews and discussions of the behind the scenes videos that came up of it. Is that almost everything was Stallone messing it up, and there was one video I watched. I can't remember what it is to give it credit, but they were talking about how even the scenes that he was filming with Brigitte Nielsen were taking forever, that the crew was just getting annoyed with him because he just wanted to take more time with it.
Yeah. And it's just goofing around with her to the point where somebody, I forget which crew member, actually confronted him and called him out because Stallone's like, we're falling behind. The shoot's taking too long. And this crew member's like, stop fucking around then.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Just look for whoever was fired from the production.
Apparently it worked, though, and he did. He stuck to being a little bit more professional, if only for a short while.
Well, he has to. He fired a guy over it.
Yeah. But the director, George Cosmatos, again, you hear anybody talk about this guy, you're not getting compliments. Everyone says he's a terrible director, or he was. I believe he passed. Should have been an amazing producer, should have stayed away from directing. But he did First Blood Part 2 right before he did Cobra. And after that, he did Leviathan and Tombstone. So he's done a lot of good movies. And his son has followed suit. Most notably, well, I think he's only done 2, really. So most notably, both are worthy of note. Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy are 2 absolutely amazing films. He has a specific style, which his father didn't. But I like the style, and I've loved both films. I'm really looking forward to see what he does next.
Cool.
But yeah, let's jump into this.
Yeah, our game that you have been eagerly anticipating for me to tell you that there is 5.5.
I don't like that.
We'll start with the easy ones and work your way down.
So, Stallone.
Correct.
Rocky 4.
Uh-huh.
The way you say that means we've covered him in something else.
Oh, you can't read into what I say. But yes, you are right.
God damn it. Tango and Cash.
You got it.
Just the 2?
Damn it, my voice gave it away again.
Brigitte Nielsen.
Correct.
Rocky 4.
Correct.
Andrew Robinson.
Correct.
Hellraiser.
Correct.
Ooh, Art LaFleur?
You got it.
Oh God, he's in so much.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. What was he in?
It's awesome that I cut out the silences so that our fans, our listeners, don't actually know how long these things take you.
Yeah, it's not good, guys.
So he was in 3 movies that we've done. You have managed to get none of them.
Perfect.
The Sandlot.
Oh yeah, Babe Ruth.
In the Army Now.
Of course.
And Trancers.
You know, I forgot we did Trancers. I was going to suggest that down the road.
Just give me a second. I got to change something for later today.
Yeah, exactly. Trancers 2. Done. Yeah, he's great, man. Art LaFleur is awesome. I don't think he's ever turned out a bad performance.
In some of the behind the scenes Cobra kind of stuff that I watched today, he was apparently the only one who enjoyed his time on set. Everybody hated it.
Which is weird because he always plays like a hard ass. Well, almost always. He just seems like a fun guy. I'm actually surprised we haven't covered Brian Thompson in anything.
Nope. Never talked about Brian Thompson.
Which is kind of surprising that we haven't done Mortal Kombat.
Surprising? I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of okay with that too.
You mean Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Yes, Annihilation, my bad.
I would be okay with doing Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't want to do Annihilation.
I'm fine not doing any of them. I'm just surprised that we haven't done them.
Okay. Well, don't give people ideas for listener picks.
Oh, shit. Don't.
Nobody pick Annihilation.
No, don't.
Next listener pick Annihilation. Well, yeah. You did it to yourself.
I mean, if it's submitted, it has a fair chance. All I'm saying is don't.
So you got 1.5 more.
What? No, what? Reni Santoni?
Correct. That's the half because his other role was tiny.
Oh, I don't know.
He was a cop and Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, okay. That's depressing.
I am okay with that. All right. One last one.
For that, I have no idea.
Roger Aaron Brown.
Who the hell's that?
I don't know. I just look up the names on IMDb. Look it up yourself.
Who did he play in this movie?
I didn't write that down.
Why?
Because you normally only ask me who they were in the other movie.
This is your fucking game. Be prepared.
Oh,
All right, who did he play in another movie we've covered?
he was Officer Lack in Action Jackson.
Oh, yeah, totally would have nailed that one.
Well, there you go.
All right.
So let's get into the actual movie now that we've had a blast with your favorite game.
Yeah, it's fucking sweet. I love it. All right.
Your
So-
enthusiasm makes sure that I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, great. I mean, I love this game.
Oh, great. Then you're
It's
in for a
the
treat. I'm going
highlight-
to keep doing it.
Fucking sweet. Can't wait. So we open on a voiceover of Stallone breaking down daily crime stats in America, which is a pretty effective soliloquy if he didn't sound wasted and completely out of breath. He seriously sounds drunk.
He might be.
Like the entire speech is a giant slur. It's weird. But then we get a quick view of the night slasher and crew clanking axes together.
What is this scene?
It's the moment where I burst out in laughter. That's what this scene is.
Just like in a warehouse, but at first I thought, is that an empty like pool? And especially considering like some of the people in the audience are like dudes in like suits.
Yes, I have that in my notes. But an empty pool. An empty pool just made me think of like suburbia. They're just in like an emptied pool in someone's backyard, clinking axes together. Is this a cult or a gang?
It's a gang, but it definitely has cult vibes.
Yeah. And like you said, some of the guys here are wearing suits. And we don't see those types of people again in this movie, except for when they reuse the shot several times.
Yep.
So we cut to our big opening action scene, which isn't my most memorable moment, but is very memorable for me. When I think Cobra, I think the grocery store shootout.
I do find it weird that during his little opening monologue, they're showing like cuts of this motorcyclist heading to the grocery store. And as I'm hearing the voiceover, I'm thinking this is either going to be the main antagonist or the main protagonist.
Nope.
Nope.
It's a guy we're going to see for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So he gets off his motorcycle and walks into a grocery store and opens fire with a shotgun, which is crazy. But for some reason, he's only shooting food.
I think that there's a scene in this that you must have absolutely loved. Like, if you can't stand grenades exploding, shop...
Let's just get to that one right now.
He hits one of the shopping carts, and it just, like, explodes in every direction. It's hilarious.
There's an explosion underneath, shooting the shopping cart up into the air, and you're thinking, the fuck was that person buying?
They were getting ingredients for dinner and some napalm.
And fuck, man. This poor guy's face looks like a latex mask.
It's pretty bad.
Did you watch Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear?
I've seen it at one point, but it's been a long time. I'm anticipating watching it again soon.
He reminds me of the guy, if he's not actually the guy, who gets the fire hose crammed in his mouth, if you remember that scene.
No, come on.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to revisiting that with you. What's the point of shooting only food, then telling a hostage he's free to go, only to shoot him in the back?
See, I think what's going on here is they're trying to establish that this guy is insane.
Okay. Yeah, he seems unhinged. I guess that's the only way to go with this, because there really doesn't seem to be a motive whatsoever.
I did really enjoy the delivery of the guy who's told he can go free.
Yeah.
Because just looking at his facial expression, I really did get the impression that he's just like, if I run, he's going to shoot me anyway. But if I don't run, he's like, this guy just had such a great facial expression on him that he's like, I know I'm screwed.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like the look, you nailed it. He's like, oh, okay, I'm not getting out of this no matter what I do.
But he said, well, I guess I might as well run, and maybe he's telling the truth. The other part I don't understand about things like this is he just takes too long to try and dodge and weave. They always just run straight for way too long.
Yes, agreed. Also confusing is he gets shot in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, as physics would have us believe, he is to fall forward, which he does. He gets up and then takes another gunshot, but he's turned sideways, so his shoulder is pointing towards the shooter. He gets shot again and then jumps backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
I'm pretty sure it makes perfect sense, dude.
Oh, okay. You wanna field that one? Explain why?
As soon as you explain the exploding shopping cart.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah. Eye for an eye? All right. The police are called, giving us a brief view of Detective Monty, played by Andrew Robinson, Captain Sears, played by Art LaFleur, and Sergeant Gonzalez, played by Reni Santoni. And this is one of my favorite scenes from the movie because it sums up how ridiculous the thinking is from start to finish.
Okay.
They feel that they can't handle the situation and call in the Cobra, who we learn they hate because of how he handles situations.
But not all of them.
Well, not Gonzalez.
No, but they're like partners, and Gonzalez seems to really enjoy him.
Yeah, Gonzalez is his captain. Oh, sergeant. Sorry, his sergeant. But yeah, Monty and Sears hate what he does, but they bring him in anyway because he's the only one that can do it. So, like, fucking appreciate that shit, man.
I only really got the impression from Monty, but yeah.
So Cobretti Cobretti enters the store and makes short work of the shooter with some witty one-liners, a knife, and some gunshots.
How did he get the jump on him?
How did he get into the freezer?
That's exactly what I mean. He gets him by coming out of the freezer, but is there multiple entrances?
No, unless he like took the time to open one of the freezer doors from like the frozen food section, remove all of the food from out of there, because all of the doors are open, I should say, creating a weird fog effect that doesn't make any sense. And then climbed through to get the jump on him, even though he didn't know where the shooter was. And the lights are off. They've killed the lights. Take off your fucking sunglasses, man.
Oh, no. That makes him look cool, man.
Because he was in the freezer, right?
The glasses fog over, too.
Yeah.
Not only is it dark, but it's also foggy.
Yeah. I think we have to agree that this movie had been funded solely on product placement, right?
It must have been. Like, every shot in this grocery store has some product front and center on camera.
Everything is like Pepsi, RC Cola, Coors, everything, and like the labels are turned perfectly toward the camera.
Oh, yeah. He even has to stop and take a sip of a Coors.
Yeah. Thoughts on the scuffle with the reporter outside after the shooter's dead?
I thought that this reporter sucked in that it was a little too forceful, but I did enjoy the whole, not that it would ever be actual possible to happen, where he just shoves his nose into one of the body bags.
That's, I was saying too, like, this is an immediate lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, we found a hair on one of the bodies. It was the reporter's. I knew it. It was him all along.
Call the Cobra. Shows up like, I've been waiting for this day since earlier this day. So we cut to the apartment altercation outside of Cobretti's building. I don't even know what you would call these guys. They're just people hanging out in a car.
Okay, does he own that side of the road where he wants to park? Is that his assigned parking spot? Because
we don't know.
To me, it just looked like he was a jerk trying to like push them out of the way to take the spot. It's like
he is.
I didn't realize that they assigned parking on the side of the street.
Well, this is like, to anybody walking by, Cobretti is a complete asshole. Because they just be walk down the sidewalk, seeing him try and get into a space that his car is too big to fit into. So he pushes the car in front of him out of the way. And when the guy in that car gets out and confronts him, Cobretti just rips his shirt off and walks away.
Okay, it's got to be a mistake. But I mentioned this before. When he rips the guy's shirt off, the guy's wearing a wire.
Yeah, he's got a microphone taped to his chest for sure.
Yeah, and like I even had to go back and like rewind it and pause it to see if I did see that. And then I messaged you about it. I'm like, this is so weird, but you know what? I'll leave it because maybe later in the movie it comes back that this is a guy who's like working undercover for him, and that's why they have the familiarity that he can be that rude to. No. This guy just has a wire on for microphone purposes, but I guess they didn't have the foresight to think he's gonna rip his shirt off. Let's move the mic before that take.
No, I'm wondering now, based off of what we know of production, Stallone being like in the moment and so sure of himself, actually ripped the actor's shirt off in an improvised motion. And they're like, well, fuck, we don't have the time to reshoot this scene because he's off like doing whatever with his wife right now. And we have to set up for the next shot.
Little did he know that guy was trying to catch Stallone being an asshole for the union.
Oh, you don't have to catch him. You just need to have him talk to any of them. No secrets there. What are your thoughts on Cobretti's apartment?
I don't have thoughts on the apartment. I don't know what I'm supposed to think about an apartment.
I really like it. It is so 80s.
Well, yeah, I continue to see how well paid police officers in the 80s were, but
especially on the Zombie Squad.
Yeah.
But no, like absolutely amazing view of the beach. The layout makes no sense whatsoever. But what makes less sense is him keeping a gun cleaning kit and leftover pizza in the freezer.
Yep.
And the gun kit is in an egg carton.
Yep.
Any ideas there as to why?
Nope.
And I can honestly say,
yeah,
I don't think that if I took a slice of pizza out of a freezer, I could just start eating it as easily as he does.
Well, he doesn't. He cuts it first with a pair of scissors.
That's right.
In a very awkward, just cut the tip of the pizza off while he's still wearing his gloves. None of this made sense to me.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah. Why they put it in the movie?
Because Stallone wrote it.
Yeah, but like you'd think there'd be a purpose. What is he trying to say about the character here?
I'm a quirky guy.
I like to eat my pizza in pieces that I cut with scissors after I open my head cracking kit that I keep in an egg basket.
Well, when you say it like that, it sounds dumb.
Oh! I just ruined it for everybody.
A TV news report gives us a bit of backstory of the terror brought on.
Hold on. Did you see how he turned on the TV?
No, I didn't.
He picks up the remote in like a vertical position and then like swings it forward. Like somehow the impact of the motion will turn the TV on better.
Interesting. That's one intimidated television.
It's so weird. It's like, you know, you don't have to put a lot of oomph into it. And if, as an actor, you hold the remote and press a button and the TV turns on, the audience will know what you're doing.
And what do we get when the TV turns on?
News report.
No, we get another fucking product placement for Toys R Us. It's the entire commercial.
Oh,
we watch an entire Christmas commercial for Toys R Us before we get to the news report. But yes, you are correct. We do get there. And this tells us that there have been 16 victims in just over a month with no pattern of victim selection, which to me is absolutely terrifying. And what a great setup for a villain. No MO whatsoever. You have no idea where to start looking. It's just a city terrified that they're going to be the next ones murdered.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because having a murderous gang and somehow convincing the police and media that it's only one person is brilliant.
See, it makes me wonder because later in the movie, there's a scene where Brigitte Nielsen drives by without stopping because, you know, these are sketchy looking people on the side of the road. It's like, why would anybody stop?
Yeah.
I would think that in this situation, there is just a city terrified that anybody could be a victim, ain't trusting no one. Just, I see someone on the side of the road. It's on you, man.
Yeah. Heading home. Sorry, you're fucked.
Yeah. You might not be the killer and they might be coming after you, but I'm not taking that chance.
Yeah. And even before that, we see 3 of them kill a woman in her car.
Yeah. They are not subtle about it either. One of the people is flat out on top of the car, swinging down on the hood. Or, on the roof. It's like, you're telling me that there's been a number of these attacks and there's been no witnesses?
Definitely no survivors, but yeah, it seems to be almost always at night in low populated areas. So really, any civilian would be like, I'm just not going outside at night at all.
Yeah. You think the police would be like, we're going to issue a curfew?
Oh, no. Where is this again? Is this Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's no curfew in LA. No one's following that shit. So we're at the coroner's office now. And Captain Sears is furious that this brings the count to 16. But the news just told us yesterday that it was already 16, and we have to let that go.
They filmed these out of order. That was a slight mistake.
Yeah, right.
It would have been so much better if he was like, this brings the kill count to 60.
We just haven't released the other info to the media.
Yeah, it's like, this is so bad that we don't even want the public to know how bad it really is, because it's going to make us look terrible.
While I do enjoy that idea, there is no way media would not catch on to something like that, because there would be friends and family members being like, our loved ones are just vanished.
Well, that they tried to hide all of them and they slipped up 16 times.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? 16 out of 60, I guess it ain't that bad.
I don't know, we're doing okay.
Cobretti brings up that there might be more than one killer, and Monty shuts him down. Why? Why not consider it?
Investigative work. I don't know. It's like, this is the guy that you bring in from the zombie squad to help out. And one of the first things that he suggests, you're like, that's just stupid. Get out of here. Go sit in the corner. Well,
they keep saying, like, he's on the zombie squad. The fuck is that? Is he the only person on it?
Yep. He's a one-man squad.
Exactly. Like, if he was part of a squad of people who are so good and dangerous, call in more than one.
Or don't hesitate to call them in.
Exactly.
They wanted nothing to do with calling in Cobra. Then why does this squad exist?
Exactly. Or if you don't like Cobra specifically, bring in someone else on the squad.
Yeah, call the squad in. All right, we'll send in Cobra. How about anybody else? Okay.
or call in whoever else is on the squad. They die. So Cobretti is the last resort. Bam. Zombie squad mystery solved.
Yeah. Even mentioning a zombie squad was just a terrible idea. Just say bring in Cobretti.
Exactly. Although there is a really good scene of Cobretti justifying his actions and how like they can't play by the rules if the killer isn't, because then they lose immediately. So we get this night slasher crew who I guess we have to refer to as the New World. I guess
I'm not doing it.
You don't want to call them the New World?
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not calling them that.
Okay. They kill another woman at night, and like this is the scene that you brought up before. Like Ingrid, played by Brigitte Nielsen, happens to be driving by and witnesses it, gets a clear view at the night slasher's face. And of course, because he's standing directly in the light. Did you notice that the woman in the gang shouts out to get the plates? Yeah.
Which on first viewing, was like, there's no way they're going to spot them. They're in underpass. Yeah, it's dark. How is anybody actually going to get those? Oh, no, they got them.
Yeah. And I was thinking, how's that going to happen? She's either a cop or works at the DMV. Oh, yeah, she's a cop. Okay, that works. I didn't remember that because I haven't seen this movie in years. But what a great idea. Have somebody in your gang on the inside to use the police database to get all of Ingrid's info. Very smart person to recruit for a murderous gang.
Yeah, and they seem to play it up as if she's like a love interest or something. I don't know.
What exactly is her role in this? Because it seems like you're right. It could be a love interest, but at other times she's like a motherly figure.
Yeah, they really don't go into like the motivations or the background of the gang too much. But I almost feel like it would have been so much more rewarding, even if there was one scene to show that, like, she's in love with him and he is clearly just using her for the information on the inside and considers her completely disposable. It just would have added an interesting power dynamic to it.
I just want to know more about the history of the gang. Like, they don't seem to be that smart, but they're also kind of organized, but not really. They've got people from all walks of life. How does that happen? How are you recruiting? There's just so many questions. And I get that you don't need those answers for this movie to work, but I found it like it would have added a lot more to the movie for me, but it's just not necessary.
One of the YouTube retrospectives that I saw, and I can't say this is 100% accurate because I didn't research it myself, indicated that the movie was originally cut to be like over 2 hours.
Yeah, I think 130 minutes.
And they cut out almost everything that was cut out was one, violence, or two, essentially the background of the gang.
Oh.
And it also had an extended ending where Detective Monty, or I don't know if it's Detective, but Monty ended up being the ringleader of the gang.
Yeah, it's Detective Monty. That would be amazing.
Which would also kind of explain a little bit more about how they have members that are of all walks of life and an inside, person at the police station. But it was all cut, I guess, because they wanted to get extra viewings in because Top Gun was coming into the theaters the week after, and they needed to up it.
Would also explain the hate for Cobretti.
Yeah, that's true, because he's actually threatened by Cobretti, exposing him.
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
Did you notice anything about Brigitte Nielsen's line delivery in this movie?
No.
Her accent comes and goes from scene to scene.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So in some scenes, she's Swedish. In some, she's California American. It is so weird and so jarring. We're talking Kevin Costner, Prince of Thieves jarring. So Sears and Monty put Cobretti and Gonzalez on the case. And I'm going to make a call right now.
Okay.
The chemistry between Stallone and Santoni, the actor, is absolutely my favorite part of the movie. Not scene or line or anything, but just, it's so good. And every time they had a back and forth, I'm thinking Sandra's going to pick Gonzalez as his favorite character.
No.
This is 100% Sandra's humor, because it's my humor too. And I love these two. Somehow Santoni brings Stallone up. He heightens his presence, and they're hilarious together. Even when it's just glances at each other, I'm laughing.
Yeah, they're very good together.
The back and forth about Gonzalez's eating habits had me chuckling, audibly laughing. And every scene between the two of them feels real to me. It was great on both their parts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an 80s movie. It's an 80s action movie, so we get a montage. A really weird montage.
Explain it. Explain this montage.
Okay. This is my note. And It is comma spliced all to hell. Homeless people. Cobretti and Gonzalez scouring the streets. The Night Slashers gang. Shots of bad-looking robots. Wait, it's a photo shoot. Because Ingrid is a model. None of these go together, but we jump back and forth between them for what feels like 5 minutes, but I'm sure is only 40 seconds.
Oh, you missed the best part of the montage.
Well, it's because you're going to bring it up.
No, I'm not. You are. I just called you out on it.
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Go for it.
The song that's playing.
Oh, that was your best part?
Yeah. Well, what did you think it was going to be?
I ignored the shit out of that song.
Oh, dude, it's such a good song. No, podcast over.
No, all right. Have a good one. The robots.
That's not the best part.
No, it's the best part is they come out of nowhere and you're like, the fuck is that? Cut back to shit that you're actually interested in seeing, like I said, scouring the streets, interviewing people, trying to get some dirt. Bam! Shitty looking robot. Back to the streets. Here's some more homeless people. Oh, they're gonna get some info. Shitty looking robot. What are we doing?
They really should have started it off by showing that those robots are at the photo shoot, because it's like the first time you see anything from the photo shoot, it's a close up of one of the robots' faces, and you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. And then as it goes on, you're like, oh, it's Brigitte Nielsen scouring the streets. Weird looking robot. Oh, it's a bit more of Brigitte Nielsen scouring the streets. Shitty looking robot. Oh, it's a lot of Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Stallone's trying to get good with her.
It's weird, man. And it feels completely out of place.
And I was okay with every second of it.
Me too.
But probably for different reasons.
Agreed.
So I was just happy to hear the song.
Yeah.
I didn't care what was going on in the movie at that moment.
I did not notice the song whatsoever.
Oh, it's the first appearance of Angel of the City in the movie. I'm like, yeah!
Sure. It was great.
Oh, it's such a good song. Man, best part of the movie.
Oh, fuck right off.
What?
It's not the best part of the movie.
Yeah, dude, that bar, this song is so good. It sets the standard way too high for any of this movie to stand up to.
Is this your favorite song in a movie we've covered?
Yes.
Think Rad. What? Better than anything in Rad?
Break the Ice and Thunder in Your Heart are amazing.
Don't say it.
I can't put it above Thunder in Your Heart. So it's
Good.
Second best.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
It's better than Break the Ice, though.
That's a pretty good song, though.
Those have got to be top 3, but come on, man. Give me a break.
Okay. All right, no, okay. Agreed. Those will be the top 3.
Okay.
Night Slasher is waiting in the parking garage for Ingrid to leave her photo shoot.
With molesty photographer, Jesus.
He drops a line that leaves you wanting him to be murdered.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to narrow it down to which one you're referring to.
I'd be sick if I didn't want to sleep with you. Okay, if you don't do it for me, do it for your career. Woo! My next note just says, yikes. My next note then says, cue the murder.
Yeah.
So we get 3 more deaths, but Ingrid escapes. And that poor fucking security guard, man, he gets smushed.
I'm actually surprised that she managed to elude them, because when she hid under whatever it was, like a car or something like that, it was kind of hard to distinguish between the action and the crash that had just happened behind her with the van.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, there's no way they don't find her unless they just don't look. Oh, sirens? Let's still look quickly.
That saves her numerous times in this movie.
Yeah, people's short-sightedness.
Yeah. Gonzalez and Cobretti question Ingrid at the hospital. So there's no real leads other than Ingrid's description of the weird guy that she saw the other night and the important fact that there were 2 others with him. Nancy Stock, the officer who's in the gang, definitely takes note of this.
Yeah.
The look on her face is like, oh, snap.
I hope she doesn't recognize me.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, she's going to let the Night Slasher know where Ingrid is. And now this is a personal kill for him.
Because she's so in love with him that she just wants to earn his favor.
Thoughts on Brian Thompson at this point in the film? Is he threatening?
I think that dude's threatening no matter what he does.
Really?
The character is not threatening, but he is very much an imposing figure that is criminally underutilized in this movie. And that's probably completely. Because all of his best scenes are probably somewhere on a cutting room floor.
That sucks. I want to see that cut now.
It's so unfortunate that he got that treatment, because he could have been so good. This could have been an iconic villain for him.
Yeah, it really could have been. You're right. If they just gave him a bit more screen time, flesh out that character, even the slightest bit more, it would be amazing. You know what else is unfortunate? The police sketch of the Night Slasher is balls.
Was it the sketch artist's first day on the job?
I don't think he's actually a sketch artist.
They just pulled somebody in the hallway. Hey, come here.
I'm just a janitor.
I took an art class online once.
I do caricatures on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
So Ingrid is going to be placed in protective custody. Of course she is.
I like how she asks, why? Why can't I go home? And Stallone is pretty much just the way it has to be.
Yeah. You don't have a choice.
He does say, well, you're the only one that can place him at the scene, but the explanation is essentially, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Conversation over, I guess.
I do love how Cobretti and Gonzalez just go for her food. They're like, conversation's over. Time to eat her food. And they're talking about eating it and grabbing at it. And then Stallone eventually asks, he's like, you're done with this, right?
Yeah. It's like they've never seen food before. Like, they're going at that food.
Well, even Cobretti's like, I have something here that looks like cheese. Okay. And of course, Gonzalez goes right for the cake because he loves his junk food.
Yeah. It's his big joke in the movie is he's got a sweet tooth.
Garbage belly. Question for you.
Okay.
Stock tells the Night Slasher that Ingrid is going to wreck their new world, which is what the shooter at the beginning of the film was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was he just a rogue member of the gang? Because
I think so.
Yeah, nobody else seems to be making public outreach to spread the message. That stuck out to me on both viewings for this podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't go into any detail whatsoever. So You're on your own on this one, dude.
Move on. Another amazing short scene between Gonzalez and Cobretti talking about how beautiful Ingrid is. Again, I can't get enough of these two together. But the key takeaway from this is that Gonzalez will stay at the hospital while Cobretti goes back to his place to see if the sketch lines up with anyone in his database.
It seems to me they should have done that the other way around. But I guess,
Agreed.
For the movie, it's got to be this way.
Yeah. So then we get another parking scene outside of the apartment building. And what's your take on this one as opposed to the previous encounter?
So this time around, like, the guys are just like, screw it, we don't want to get our car dented, and they just move for him.
Yeah. And like, they're sucking up to him. And he's still a complete asshole.
Yeah. The guy's probably just like, dude, you tore one of my only two good shirts. Like, I can't afford you to rip another one.
You're a model citizen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dick.
You're a model citizen because I abused my power and you went with it.
Thank you, just coming to police brutality. So the Night Slasher arrives at the hospital, and this is incredibly problematic for me.
Oh, is it because of the size difference between him and the janitor?
Yeah, he takes out that custodian and just assumes his identity. But you're right. It's clothing and all. And this guy's like a foot shorter than the Night Slasher and at least 50 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the clothes fit perfectly.
Yeah.
And the glasses.
And somehow nobody knows what janitor is supposed to be on shift. I guess he didn't have any friends. He took his fucking ID card. They look nothing alike. It's on his chest below his face. Yeah.
Nobody notices.
Nope.
So the Night Slasher almost kills a nurse in the elevator. But why? Why would you immediately blow your cover like that?
Can you imagine? He does it, and it's like, well, gotta go come up with a plan B because I didn't even make it halfway to the room.
Yeah. But what stood out to me more than any of this nonsense?
Okay.
Carpeted floors in a hospital.
I didn't even notice. But there you go. Nitpicky Ben again.
It's so disgusting. It's like a germ jungle, man. You're not keeping anything clean if you have a carpeted hospital.
Yeah, nitpicky Ben.
I don't think that's a nitpick. I think that's a general health concern.
Yeah, but noticing it in the film.
They show it. They have a close-up on the nurse's feet walking on carpet. That's not... fine. Fine. You stay in carpeted hospitals from now on. See how long you make it.
I'm not saying that the hospital shouldn't have or should have carpet. I'm saying noticing it in the movie is the nitpick.
Okay, so we can agree that it was a bad idea, though.
Yeah, you don't want to have carpet in a hospital, but that's not... You know what? Let's just move on. I'll just say you're right if it gets us past this.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, you take your default win.
Oh, no. I fought for that one.
Okay.
So Gonzalez calls Cobretti saying that he got a call telling him to go to the office and he wants to know why. Fuck, man. That's a wicked way to clear the hospital of competent police. Especially
considering that you have someone on the inside that could have been responsible for setting up that call.
Yeah. And then Cobretti's attacked at his apartment by axe-wielding thugs. We haven't really seen anyone smart enough to be a mastermind here, I don't think. If the leader of this gang walks out into direct light and then worries because somebody can ID him because he was standing under a streetlight, he's not orchestrating something like this.
No, but you have somebody that works for the force that knows who the employees are that were in the hospital with the victim and has access to their addresses and their personal information.
Yeah. It just seems like a throwaway action scene. And like this movie is all action, don't get me wrong, and I love it. But this one just kind of seems boring. I think that the whole thing is just to get that giant Pepsi logo in the background.
Of course, man. Need to get more product placement funds here.
So a nurse is doing her nightly rounds, and she finds a woman murdered and then is killed herself. So that was my question to you. I guess the night slasher has absolutely no control whatsoever.
It doesn't even try to like show that they were in his way.
Completely different room.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then again, I ask you, who is keeping everything so organized?
It's Stone. Was it Stone? Whatever her name is. Stock.
Nancy Stock?
Yeah, female cop.
I think she's just giving information. I don't think she's telling everyone what to do, but maybe she is, and we just don't see it because of everything that was removed. Fuck. Oh my God. The more we get into this, the more I want to see that deleted footage. Well, Stallone just redid Rocky 4. Maybe he can finally do Cobra since he technically wrote the screenplay.
Maybe.
I mean, George Cosmatos is dead, so okay, let's push for that.
I'm not pushing for anything.
Cobra Stallone cut. Cobretti and Gonzalez racing back to the hospital. In the meantime, we get the confrontation between the night slasher and Ingrid. What's your thoughts on this scene? Is it actually tense or just blandly predictable?
Almost comedic.
Yeah, right?
I just love when like the door gets blocked and he has no other option but to punch through it and swing his knife wildly, hoping he's gonna hit her. Like, these are villains that have run out of every idea possible.
I don't think they had ideas to begin with.
Fair. And what does she block the door with?
Oh, I don't remember. I know the door on the other door is blocked with just like some light hospital equipment.
Oh, I thought it was janitor's equipment.
No.
Because I was going to say, like, the irony that he dressed up as a janitor.
No, it was just like monitors and something else.
Right.
But do you find it weird that nobody hears the violence or screams? But as soon as she pulls the fire alarm when she gets to the hallway, people flood into it.
From everywhere.
Everywhere.
Where were all of you?
There's too many people for the rooms that they're coming out of.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And it's a ghost town before that.
Yeah. So back at police headquarters, Cobretti claims the gang must have somebody on the inside. And this is immediately shot down, despite making perfect sense now. Time to get Ingrid out of the hospital and into hiding. During which, I have to say, Cobretti tells Monty that Ingrid's guards got a call from HQ telling them to leave. Monty says that never happened. More credence to the inside man theory here that nobody acknowledges, what Cobretti brought up before, but also makes a lot more sense knowing what you said about Monty being the ringleader.
Yeah.
So a lot of my complaints about this are justified because they were addressed in the original cut of the movie. I find that very interesting.
No, there's a really good story on some cutting room floor somewhere.
That's heartbreaking. But they head out, Cobretti and Ingrid in one car, Gonzalez and Stock in another, and now it's time for a crazy car chase. Night Slasher and his sniper in one car, two other gang members in a truck, and Gonzalez and Stock are taken out immediately. But what is there to say about this chase?
I really don't know how this gang made it this long without being exposed. There's nothing stealthy or like secretive. Like these people are not cautious.
It's an insanely awesome chase and seemingly goes forever. Except for the truck. That truck explodes, leaving only the chassis somehow. But the stunt driving, you have to admit, is fantastic.
Yeah, there's one part where Stallone like hits the brake and swerves around and then somehow doesn't lose any momentum driving backwards to shoot at the truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but seeing it on camera is fun.
Yeah. Even driving off that second level of the parkade, like there's no way that car is surviving that, but it looks awesome.
That's the thing about these movie chase scenes is that cars survive things that they should seemingly never survive until they just don't.
And there's one thing I saw here that I loved, and this is exactly what you're talking about, because both cars go up and over a hill and take massive amounts of air. I'm like, holy shit, that's great. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. And by the fourth time, I'm laughing my ass off because it's absolutely ridiculous.
That thing would have fallen apart by now.
Oh, yeah. And eventually, Cobretti's car is totaled, and the Night Slasher gets away, which I find really strange because wouldn't this be the best time to strike?
No, their car just finally broke down and they're kind of woozy and not moving. You don't go back for the kill.
That's ridiculous.
Efficiency is not this gang's name.
No, God, no. Not even close. So arguments break out at the police headquarters for no reason. Even Monty and Sears are yelling at each other, and they're on the same page. So I don't really know what's going on here. But I've got a few more problems I'm wondering if you can help me out with.
Oh, geez, what kind of flooring was in the police station?
Linoleum. So they're still ignoring Cobretti's theory that this is a gang, even though they have bodies from the car crash proving there's more than one person.
Yeah. Can you imagine that the police are just like, oh, there's 2 people in that car? Case closed.
Yeah. The police don't want to send Ingrid upstate to hide. She would be safer at headquarters. That makes sense. Cobretti says no, because these people will stop at nothing. So why isolate a small team upstate? That makes even less sense.
Yeah, they're going to stop at nothing, so let's not keep her in a building full of cops.
Yeah. Cobretti, Ingrid, Gonzalez, and Stock head north, taking us into a montage of driving and the New World Night Slasher gang prepping themselves for an attack. And we keep getting these weird shots of people with the same wrist tattoos of like the crossed axes. They're watching our heroes drive by on their way upstate, and I kind of like it because it does imply that Stock gave the gang enough notice that they've already concocted a plan and are just waiting for Cobretti to drive into a trap.
Oh, see, that's your mistake, thinking that they can concoct a plan.
Yes, because this is a problem now. The next scene, during a stop for gas and candy, because of Gonzalez.
He has a sweet tooth. See, I told you it's going to come back to it.
Ingrid asks Gonzalez where they're going, and he has no idea and tells her to ask Cobretti. So where's Stock getting this info from if he hasn't told anybody where they're going?
Well, she keeps going to the phone, right? Like payphone to clearly tell. It sounds like she doesn't know, and she's just doling out the information as she's getting it.
But they're always ahead of our heroes.
Well, that's the thing. The gang is everywhere. You have no idea how far-reaching Monty's gang is.
I guess.
They have inside people in every precinct across the country. You're just never going to find out that story.
Then we get a joke reveal of Cobretti's first name, Marion.
No, I don't see what's funny about that.
No. Yeah, my note after that is just LOL question mark.
That's like, okay.
Yeah, that's great. But this leads us to the Crossroads Motor Court. And not much to say about this scene other than Ingrid using what looks like an entire bottle of ketchup on a small tray of fries.
Okay, this is my nitpick moment because
same.
I actually watched very, very closely as she's squeezing the shit out of that bottle for an extended period of time. And they cut to a close-up of the fries, and there's barely any ketchup on it. It's like,
I know.
What was she doing that whole time? Is it coming out of like a pin-size hole? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then after eating some, she goes back and pours some more.
I was so fucking angry because you see how much, like, there's a massive stream of ketchup coming out of this bottle.
It's definitely, that bottle is like goes from full to empty.
And she is squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And it cuts to a shot of like Stallone's face and goes back. And she's crushing that bottle again. And the same thing happens numerous times. And then it's like a splash of ketchup. You say it's a nitpick. I'm with you on that one. That's a problem, not a nitpick.
Okay. Sorry. I thought it's inconsequential, but okay.
Cobretti does actually notice Stock using a payphone in the scene. And she looks suspicious as fuck.
Nobody is apparently good in this gang.
No. Night arrives and our heroes go to their motel rooms. In the city, the gang rolls out. So, one of my favorite scenes here.
Okay.
Stock is on the payphone outside, where Cobretti confronts her. asking what she's doing and why she didn't use the phone in her room. And he's got her pinned here. It's very good. Because as we know, she's talking to somebody in the gang, so she can't use the phone in the room because that's where Gonzalez is. And later in their room, Ingrid's in bed. Cobretti's doing a weapons check, laying out grenades and assembling a gun. And she sits up in bed and he asks, "Can't sleep?" And my next note says, "Of course she can't sleep. You're banging your shit around on a table 6 feet away, and she has an entire gang coming after her to kill her."
Can you imagine? Like, you see him pull out this, like, demolitions kit, whatever you want to call it, and he's just like, just go to sleep. She's like, "Should I be worried?" No,
it's fine. It's fine. Testing a laser sight on a machine gun.
I'm just going to be up here testing all of this heavy machinery. You got nothing to worry about until sexy times.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it is now time for a bit of romance, but nowhere near as indulgent as most action films. And I really appreciate that because Stallone seems to really want to showcase his wife here. And rightfully so. She's awesome in this movie, except for the accent. Brigitte Nielsen is doing some of the best acting that she's ever done.
Yeah, she had me believing that those fries were going to be swimming in ketchup. Good on her.
Totally. Needed a life preserver. The next morning, armed thugs arrive with Stock giving them instructions, and our heroes hide in their cabins as the movie's major action scene begins. Why is the gang so well coordinated now? Even coming up with a plan to take over the town and block the police from entering? Anything?
I got nothing, man. I can tell you what I think should be happening.
Please do.
Stock and Gonzalez are the ones that are leading the way. Gonzalez is the one that knows where to go. And Stock is constantly altering the map, the route to send them to a town that's controlled by the gang.
Yep, that would make more sense. Okay, this action scene, man.
You got this, man.
This shootout is just insane. Absolutely insane. None of these buildings would be standing. Gang members are dropping like flies. Gonzalez takes a nasty gunshot to the thigh.
Yeah.
It looked really bad, and I was worried that his character was going to die. I'm just going to move on from here because this is just like a 5-minute scene of buildings being destroyed by bullets.
Yeah, there's really not much to talk about. They're just shooting at each other with a full artillery.
Yeah. And this leads to a car chase shootout, then a foot chase through grapefruit orchards, complete with our favorite types of grenades, Sandro.
Oh, the incinerary grenades.
Exactly. And then all of this culminating in a final showdown in some type of refinery or factory that's just in the middle of nowhere, which seems to have only one guard working there.
The poor guy.
That poor guy.
And Stock just shoots him.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder why she didn't just use that bullet on Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah. Honestly, she had been so close to the three of them for so long, she could have taken them all out herself.
She could have just waited till they went to the washroom and poisoned their ketchup bottle.
Side note for you. I love how frustrated the sniper is this entire movie. Especially by the end of it. Shot. He always has a clear shot, but he never takes it until it's too late, or Cobretti moves at the last second, and he's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And that has the weirdest death in this movie. Shooting up at Cobretti, missing, but hitting a barrel of flammable liquid, which pours down over him, and Cobretti just sets him on fire with a match that he's been chewing on the entire film.
The entire film! This is the payoff for what we've been waiting for?
I mean, I thought it did look pretty cool, especially in 1986, but...
It did, but at least use it on the main villain or something like that.
See, that would make a lot of sense.
He gets it much worse, but...
Yes, he does. In a very confusing way for me. So, Cobretti's pretty much taken out the entire gang single-handedly, and now it's really a cat-and-mouse scenario. When they finally meet, and the Night Stalker gives his speech, I'm totally hearing Shao Kahn.
Okay.
Like the entire time, I'm like, oh fuck, Mortal Kombat, Annihilation. And I can't get that out of my head, but it's a really good speech. The
Night Stalker, we had some more context to it. He's talking about how like society is what breeds them and they're trying to get the strongest to survive. And I'm like, There's some good words in there, but I'm not putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
None of your actions in this movie have made me think that you guys are doing any sort of like righteous evolutionary like adjustment. Like
a revolution, uprising.
Yeah. It's just
nothing.
Cool.
The Night Slasher accidentally shoots and kills Stock. And now we get that final fight between the killer and Cobretti. And what are your thoughts on the fight?
Well, I couldn't help but notice that the setting made me think of Terminator 2.
Yep.
But as for the fight, I felt like it was a little, I want to say staged, but obviously it was. Like, especially when Cobretti has that chain, I'm like, this shouldn't be going this long.
Yes.
I feel like it should be over by now, but okay.
I agree. I have a jot note here saying entertaining, but dragged on way too long.
And at no point do I actually feel like Cobretti doesn't have the advantage that he should just end this whenever he wants. Like, what are you doing, toying with him now?
Yeah. And how the fight ends, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
So Cobretti picks up the Night Slasher and hangs him on a giant hook that have been like going through because we're in a factory that's automated now because the guard, when he got shot and died, fell and hit with the one button that turned on the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, when you see those hooks going by throughout the fight, they aren't sharp. They're incredibly dull and massive. There's no way that the Night Slasher's getting punctured in the back by that. There's also no force behind it holding it in place. So basically what would have happened is Cobretti would have picked up the Night Slasher, pushed him against the hook would have moved out of the way, and he's just hanging on to the Night Slasher.
Yeah, but see, that's how strong Cobra is, that he puts him on there with so much force that even a dull hook punctures right into him and doesn't somehow instantly kill him.
It doesn't, no. It just carries him into a furnace where he's burned alive.
It's a very torturous death, but
yeah,
I guess it's movies.
So we fade back to the town where the police have regained control somehow. The media's on site. Luckily, we get to see that Gonzalez is alive and gets loaded into an ambulance.
Yay!
Yeah, he wants his gummy bears too.
Yes, because he has a sweet tooth.
Yeah. The next part made me laugh out loud.
Okay.
Sears, Art LaFleur, is incredibly grateful for Cobretti's actions, saying that if there's anything he needs, just to ask. So Cobretti says he'd like to have his car replaced, and Sears immediately goes, yeah, it's not in our budget.
I enjoyed that as well.
It's gold. The movie has made me laugh out loud a few times, and that's surprising. Then we get to the conversation between Monty and Cobretti, where Monty says, I would have done it in a more subtle style. And all I have written is, how? All Cobretti did was return fire, then run away. So they shake hands, but Cobretti punches him in the face. He then gets on a motorcycle with Ingrid, and they drive off. So credits roll. It's the end of the movie. But I can't stop thinking about the fact that they just rode off on a piece of evidence.
Yes. Yes, that is one of the gang members' bikes. Yes.
Yeah. You caught on to that as well. Good.
It was mentioned in the videos that I watched.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
I think it was in the Good Bad Flicks one, but yeah.
Yeah, anybody who hasn't heard of Good Bad Flicks, go check out that YouTube channel. Cecil is absolutely amazing, and the amount of time and research he puts into making these videos about, well, good bad flicks, they're fantastic.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more research than I'm putting in.
Yeah. So, something like this. Keep in mind, Stallone has gotten 4 Rocky movies under his belt now, 2 Rambo films. We have Brigitte Nielsen, we have Andrew Robinson, Brian Thompson, Art LaFleur. What's the budget on this movie?
1986?
Yeah.
I have to imagine Stallone's paycheck is massive.
Keep in mind, he also wrote it.
32 million?
25.
Okay. So he didn't pay himself as much as I thought he was going to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, good on you. What a stand-up guy.
How much did it make?
67.
$160 million.
That's what I meant. Was 167.
167.
So, yeah, I was a lot
magic
closer.
Number.
A lot closer than it might have appeared initially. Wow. What a
yeah.
success. How did this not have a sequel then?
Well, they were going to do a sequel. They tried to make one the following year, but it never came to be. Like 4 years ago, they were talking about a remake being in the works. They didn't know if it was going to be a movie or a TV series. No one's really heard anything since then, other than I think Robert Rodriguez was supposed to direct it. I don't know if Cobra works today, though. I think Cobra should stay in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm not saying today, but 80s action movies, if you hit that big in the box office, it feels like you get like a 1 year turnaround and they're pumping out a sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just a little surprised that it made that much money and it didn't get a sequel.
What do you think about ratings for IMDb?
I mean, it's revered as a cult classic, so 7?
5.8.
Okay.
Positive reviews from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Percentage?
I feel like this is one that the critics didn't like, but the fans did.
Oh, yeah.
So 42.
18. It's bad.
I'm not doing well with guessing today.
Audience approval?
I think it's going to be higher. I think that's what keeps it in cult status. So I'm going to go with... Okay, I've been off with everything, so let's go a little bit lower. 68.
It's one above your previous guess. It's 43. But that's fine. Yeah, it is a cult classic. You're right. But the reviews are not generous.
See,
even
that's
though
why I
it
would have
made
thought...
so much money.
That's why I would have thought, like, critics can shit on a movie, and if the fans like it, it'll still make its money and get its cult status.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Fine. Whatever.
Jump into awards?
Yeah, let's do it. So, who did you have for your least favorite character?
Detective Monty, played by Andrew Robinson.
Oh.
Yeah. I found his character incredibly annoying, but I have to say now, knowing how much of his character story had been removed, he would not be my least favorite character if that was the movie we got. His character just seems so flaky and out of place here. It's contradictory at points because of what's been removed. I think Andrew Robinson just does a really good job at playing characters I don't like, just like in Hellraiser. What about you?
I also went with Andrew Robinson as Detective Monty, and one of the words you didn't use that I wanted to use was cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Watch any of these like 80s, early 90s cop movies, and there's this one character that just hates what they do and is constantly harping on them. But in most cases, if the movie isn't completely shredded, they at least have some motivation or personal reason for it. I'm not going to judge this on the movie they wanted to make, but the movie we actually got. And in the movie we got, he seems to just hate Cobra for no reason at all and just comes off as an annoying, whiny guy as a result. Like, it's just... and again, I can't speak to what they wanted to do, but however they cut this, he is one of the few people that really, really got the short end of the stick. They did a disservice to by the way they cut it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
How about your favorite character?
I don't want to say.
It's it really has to be one Sergeant Tony Gonzalez, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to call it this early in the episode.
I knew it. It has your sense of humor written all over it, man.
I wanted a movie that was more buddy cop between the two of them than him as just supporting cop, because they were so good together, and you had to call it. Just shut up. What's yours?
That's the same.
Oh, we're 2 for 2.
Yeah, Reni Santoni was absolutely amazing in this movie.
He's amazing in general.
You want to see him on screen for so much longer than you actually get to in everything he's in. He is absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And the Tony Gonzalez character in this movie is one of the most fleshed out, which is weird because we actually get some personal details about Cobretti's life, but we care more about Gonzalez based off of how genuine the character comes across.
See, little did you know that none of his stuff was cut from the original version. And in that version, he was the least fleshed out character.
He's great, though. Gonzalez was amazing in this movie.
Absolutely. That's why I totally didn't pick him for my favorite. All right. So what did you have for your favorite or most memorable line?
Oddly enough, I had to go with the Night Slasher.
Okay.
There is one line right before they have their face-to-face confrontation and the refinery at the end. And he's not even yelling. He's loud talking. And I found that more disturbing than if he were shouting. But he loudly yell talks, "I want your eyes, pig." It's terrifying. His delivery for all those lines is so good. He's been muted for most of this movie, and we kind of know why now. But during this scene, he's giving it his all, and it's great. And I have to say something that even backs this up more is, I'm sure you saw this in one of your videos you watched, I don't know. But Brian Thompson did this monologue to an off-screen script supervisor because Stallone was busy watching a basketball game.
I did not see that, no.
So he was doing this basically to no one. And it was so good.
Maybe that's why it was so good, because Stallone wasn't present at the moment to tell him, no, do it my way.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. What was yours?
So, I like lines where they're kind of contradictory for humor.
Mm-hmm.
So Cobra says to Gonzalez at one point, and it's kind of early after they met with LaFleur, he's like, "You know what the trouble with you is? You're too violent."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because Cobra's the violent one. Get it?
That's pretty funny. That was really funny.
I can't help it. I just like that stuff.
Memorable scene?
So it's absolutely the cop security guard that got crushed by the van. He gets off the elevator and is just pancaked to nothingness. It happened so instantly, so quickly, that like I shot out of my seat. I'm like, what? Like that guy got it so bad.
Oh yeah. Wow, I never would have guessed that one.
Maybe it'll stick more to most memorable because, there was some great scenes to enjoy as your favorites. But like they don't like
like I said earlier, that guy got smushed.
Oh man, smushed is like an understatement.
I had to go with a much more serious scene.
Okay.
And it's where Cobretti and Gonzalez are questioning Ingrid at the hospital after her attack.
Okay.
Because everybody in this scene shines. Like we said, whenever you have Cobretti and Gonzalez on screen, Stallone and Santoni are phenomenal together. Brigitte Nielsen steps up her game here too. But with the entire scene having great shots of emotion conveyed through glances at one another and lines from Gonzalez like, "Hey, we're two really nice guys that are here to ask you some really bad questions. Is that okay?" Like the writing, like Stallone is a good writer. He's an Oscar-winning writer, and some of that shines through here. But it was a perfect mixture for these three actors in this one scene, in this setting, dealing with the fallout of a pretty traumatizing event that gelled so well. It had no right to be in this movie. So yeah, to me, that one really sticks out.
Wow. My pick all of a sudden just seems a little bit more heartless. But
we were looking for different things. That's all, man.
I wasn't looking. It was right in my face, whether I wanted it or not. So why don't you get to your final thoughts on Cobra then?
This movie is 100% dumb fun. I love it. I'm not normally one to be a big fan of Stallone movies, and the ones I like a lot. But this, I believe, is my favorite of anything I've seen him do. He's great. Nielsen's great. Santoni's great. Robinson, you love to hate him. Art LaFleur is just great to see on screen no matter what. You brought up the soundtrack. It's fantastic. It's 80s action cheese. The action scenes are fucking phenomenal. And it's under an hour and a half long, which is what this should be. I would 100% recommend this. It's just so much fun. You can throw it on by yourself, throw it on with a bunch of friends and have like snacks or a couple of beers or whatever you want to do. You're going to enjoy it. It's too much fun to hate, to dislike. There's at least 3 or 4 moments where you're going to be like, that's actually pretty good. It's a fun movie. 100% a recommendation. What's your take?
So you know me, 80s, 90s action movies are my jam. And there's been a lot of movies that we have covered, specifically Dolph Lundgren movies, where I'm just sitting here like, how have I never seen this movie before? Like, it's so good. I know it, but I've never seen it. And this was another one of those movies where, like, I knew of the movie. I knew the soundtrack, but I just never seen it. And I'm a big Sly fan as well. Unlike you, however, I think I could have left this one in the past without having seen it.
Wow.
It was rather disappointing as a whole. I think I know why. Because as much as I love the cheesy action movies for their action, their humor, one-liners, which this movie has it all in there as well, but it also comes down to like a bit of heart in the story. And this story just feels so neutered.
Yeah.
That I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but like, I wish I could have seen the movie that they were originally going to release, because what we got here just feels so underwhelming. You have an amazing cast. You have an amazing soundtrack. You do have some good action and some lines, but the whole time you're just kind of left wondering, what if? What if I got the full explanation? What if I knew what the actual motivations were? What if this was a much better movie that it's showing it's got kind of under the surface waiting to creep out, but it just never takes that step. So it's okay. I'm not saying don't watch it, but it might be one of my least favorite Stallone movies and one that I will not be eager to go and rewatch. Unless, of course, there's a director's cut, in which case I will absolutely give it another chance.
Do you think that your opinion on this movie is influenced by the fact that you know it was supposed to be something that it, in the end, wasn't?
No. I had watched the movie twice and built pretty much these ideas before, because I only watched those YouTube explanation videos like a couple of hours ago when I was killing time until our recording.
Yeah, I just thought it might have influenced your opinion, but that's fine.
If I'd seen those videos beforehand, then maybe, but it was more like those videos kind of reinforced that feeling that something was missing when I was watching the movie.
Okay.
And in a way, maybe also kind of justified those feelings. Like, I almost felt bad to kind of critique this movie for being a little flat and missing that it factor. And then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense why it just felt like it was failing to hit that top gear.
Wow. Shit. I'm sorry, man. I thought you would really like this one. I was excited.
I'm not saying I regretted watching it. I just, like I said, I don't think outside of like an announcement of a director's cut that I would revisit this one.
Okay. So not the fan I thought you were going to be. I am 100% a fan.
But an amazing song on the soundtrack.
Divisive film. That's interesting. I didn't expect that.
All right, so that was our thoughts on Cobra. If you guys want to share your thoughts with us, you can hit us up on social media. We are on Twitter at BSBargainBin, bsbargainbin.com, facebook.com/BSBargainBin, or as always, comment section of our YouTube videos, youtube.com/@BSBargainBin. Ben.
Yes.
Where are we going next week, man?
We're going to jump 20 years ahead of Cobra, and we will be talking the 2006 film Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
The boy murdered Silas, buried his body in the field, and dragged Molly from the house, hanging her in the farm's apple orchard.
cardio. I have to do. It's ridiculous. There's that whole thing, making it look like you're walking. Everybody else is running their asses off.
Everybody thinks we just wake up one morning and start obsessing about a girl and start stalking her, killing everybody that gets in the way.
That does seem to happen a lot with you guys.
That boy, he's going to be the best yet.
There are 11 exits from the first floor. Another 8 or 9 that might be manageable from the second floor. All the obvious weapons I've sabotaged.
Why are you doing
We're gonna have this conversation. Head in the van.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
So how will this play out? How will this work?
You won't like what you see. I promise you that.
Make sure you're getting this.
We got film on those cameras, boys.
Not stand here and let this happen.
Don't you get it? We're in this now. We're part of his equation.
Right, one second. Always. You have to tell me. What happens to me?
Until next time, have a good one.
All the best.